and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and I hope you guys are having a wonderful Friday so far. Today I have six things to show you. These are basically just, let's see, there's three, kind of four things that our Minerva makes that I have recently made with some Minerva fabric. For those of you that don't know, I am part of the Minerva blogger network, so I do receive fabric in exchange for blog posts for them. Anyway, there's three on here that have not been up on their website yet, and I also haven't shown you. So I have three, right? Three? Yes, kind of four. And then the other two are just two items that I made at my sewing retreat back in January that I just haven't shown you yet. Or I kind of shown you, but not really. So anyway, let's get started. I just thought this might be interesting. I like to show you all everything I make. So yeah, this is stuff that just didn't fit into anything particular that I wanted to show you guys. Okay, make number one. This is Simplicity. Where is the pattern? What have I done with it? 8, 9. I can't remember. I will pop the pattern right here. Okay, so this is a wrap blouse. Very reminiscent of some things that Meghan Markle has worn somewhat recently. I use this beautiful rayon crepe that is, actually, I had picked this fabric before I'd gotten my colors done. And while this gray blue is not necessarily one of my colors, it does have my colors in it. So the orange, there's some kind of a goldy yellow color, and then the greens are all very much my colors. So this definitely goes with a lot. Even the whites that are in here are kind of vanilla. So this definitely goes with my the rest of my wardrobe, and I really love this top. Now, if you saw my, what was it, my travel module that I did back in February for when I went to Florida, this was part of it. So you actually have seen me wearing it, but I'll pop a little video of me in the blouse so you can kind of see it on. I just love a good woven wrap blouse and a knit wrap blouse. They're just are so flattering on so many body types, and I find it flattering on myself. With this one, as far as fit adjustments, I did do a full bust adjustment, and I'm trying to remember how much I added. I think it was a total of 2 inches. So I think I added an inch on each side, which it does have a dart. Then I think there's gathers at the waist, and I can't remember if, I think I may have split it up. Split the full bust up in between the dart and just adding a little bit more gathers here into the little peplum at the waist. I opted for the view with the skinnier ties. I just think that looks so cute. I used a couple of vintage just bone buttons from Joyce's stash. I inherited a lot of stuff from my mentor, but I do have some of these bone buttons, which I just find very dainty. I love that there's two kind of close together. This pattern has a continuous lap placket for the cuff, which is, I really like the continuous binding, the continuous lap method for thinner weight things. Now for a shirt, I really like a tower placket. Like if I'm using like a linen or a cotton or something for like a button-down shirt, I really like a tower placket. But for something a little more delicate, I do really like the continuous lap. For my wrap, I do this on all of my wraps, both knits and wovens. And actually Sean from Kittenish Behavior does the same thing I noticed. I do a buttonhole on the back side of my side seam instead of leaving a gap in the side seam. I just don't think that that's just very strong. It leaves a really weak point in your side seam because that tie is going through there and can definitely, you know, wear down that seam a little bit. So I always just do a buttonhole right behind, on the back side usually, but right behind the seam, and I'll interface. I have interfacing, which you can see. A little piece of interfacing that's back there for that buttonhole. But I do this again on all of my wrap tops. So that is a deviation from the pattern. It has a little just collar stand that I find very flattering on myself. And then as with all of my wrap tops, I added a little clear snap here just to keep things, I mean, you probably can hardly see that, just to keep things from gaping. When you're putting the clear snap in, mark it on your body while you're wearing the shirt, because you don't want anything to pull, and it definitely can if you're not very careful in where you're pinning things. So definitely do that on your body. And I think that's all there is to say about this. I really, really like this pattern. I had a lot of fun sewing it. I really love wearing it. It's somewhat similar, kind of, to the McCall's, the blue silk blouse that I made last year. It was a McCall's pattern that I can't remember the name of, off the top of my head or the number. That one was also in a dress, except that one had a waistband and then the peplum. So this one's a little different. It's just the top going into the peplum. But there's a couple of different options of like a couple of layer, you know, a double layer peplum. There's some neat different sleeve options, although of course I'm always a sucker for a good full sleeve going into a cuff. Anyway, I really, really am pleased with how this shirt came out, and it's gonna get even, can that go there? More and more wear. I'm trying to hang this on my lights. I don't know if that's gonna, I just steamed it, so I don't want it to get all crinkly. It's been sitting. Oh, one more thing about this. On the hem, because as you can see, this little peplum piece, right here, it comes both sides, it curves up into the waist seam, which obviously is a very deep curve. So I had some silk bias binding on hand, and I just did my biased hem facing like I do on shirt tail hems. And I do have a tutorial for that on the channel. It's under the, if you go to my playlists on my channel, it's under the tutorial tab. But there is a tutorial on how I do that. And that's what I did for this shirt because there was such a steep curve, and I didn't want to try and do a narrow hem on that because there was such a deep curve there in the front. So yeah, I just used a little lilac silk crepe de chine that I'd already cut into bias strips when I had been using that fabric last, so I just used that. Okay, next top. This is the, wait, that's not a Minerva one. Hold on. I'm not going to show you that one yet. Ooh. Okay. Yeah. Next up is my Holland dress by Itch to Stitch. This is also another Minerva make. I actually haven't even photographed this one yet. This is made in a John Caldor. It's a wool viscose spandex blend. I think it's 20% wool and then a high percentage of viscose, and then I don't know, I can't remember what the spandex is, but it has 20% wool in it, so it's not itchy. Someone had asked about that, because if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this dress on me because I was kind of showcasing it on Instagram as I made it. This is the new Itch to Stitch Holland dress. I love this pattern. Now, the pattern comes with a center front seam that after I made this, I could have totally cut that on the fold, and I kind of wish I would have, but that's okay. The back is cut on the fold, and then it's got, I don't know why the center front seam is there, to be honest, other than just to help fit things onto fabric, but anyway. It's got princess seams to the armhole on both the back and the front. This Itch to Stitch pattern, she has full bust options for all of her woven things, but this is the first knit garment that she has a full bust option or a standard bust option. But like the Love Notion patterns, I find that while I need cup sizes in their woven, or at least the full bust in their woven patterns, I'm fine doing the standard bust because I'm right at 3 inches between my high bust and full bust. So I can usually, on knit patterns, get away with just the standard bust. But I love the way this turned out. It is bringing back all the memories of the 90s when I was a teenager. Very much a skater dress. I love how it flows over the curves. I think this is going to be fun to wear now with some tights and boots, but I think it can definitely, because again, it's just 20% wool, and then it has a high viscose percentage, which usually means it's breathable. So I could probably get away with this. Maybe not in the, I don't know. I'll have to see if, well, it's got long sleeves, so I probably wouldn't wear it in the heat of the summer, but definitely springtime here, and definitely in the fall, and then the winter with some tights. And because the sleeves are fitted, you can easily put a cardigan or something over it too. So the fabric was lovely to work with. The dress I'm absolutely smitten with. I didn't get to test this one. I was gone. I was in Florida when the testing for this came out, so I was very bummed that I didn't get to test this pattern, but oh, I bought it as soon as it came out. So anyway, there is that. Sorry, hitting my lights. Just pressed everything. Want everything to stay nice. All right, and then my final Minerva make, this is the kind of 2 pieces. This is, well, I made this for my daughter. This is in a, is it a French terry? No, it's a fleece back. It's a sweatshirting, but it is a fleece back sweatshirting. It's got a lot of stretch in it, and it feels so soft. It's obviously gray with these cute little lovebirds all over it with the little hearts. I just thought this fabric was adorable. I was given, I think 2 meters of it from Minerva, and my daughter loved it. So I made this cute little hoodie for her and a matching pair of shorts. So this is the Linko Neighbourhood hoodie and sweatshirt. I obviously made the hoodie option. I'll show you the shorts in a second. Obviously made the hoodie option. I had some gray ribbing in my stash that actually matched really well, so I used that for the cuffs. And for the hemband, I used this really fun, she picked out the zipper color, my daughter did, so we used this nice dark purple zipper, separating zipper. I lined the hood in some teal bamboo. I just had scraps of it in my scrap bin, and I thought it went nicely with some of the teals that are in amongst the birds. So we did the bamboo knit for the hood. And then it calls for bias binding along the neck seam where the hood joins the sweatshirt, but I just used fold over elastic, and I just didn't fold it over. I just used it flat and sewed it down on both ends. So it still has some stretch a little bit. I really like the way that that turned out. That's a real pale purple. It's kind of hard to tell there. But again, just some fold over elastic I had in my stash. It's got these cute little kangaroo pockets in the front. I mean, it's just a great little jacket, especially for a 13-year-old. We took it to Florida, and she wore it every single morning when they were doing their beach combing with my dad and her brother, my son. They do a lot of beach combing when they're down there. What else? It has a raglan sleeve, if you can see there. It was a pretty quick sew, to be honest. She's got great instructions. This was my first Liesl & Co. pattern, and it was actually on sale when I was buying the Hollywood trousers. And so I just went ahead and bought it because my daughter, again, had asked for a hoodie pattern. I just didn't have a nice hoodie pattern in my stash, it was on sale, so I picked it up. And I'm just very impressed with Liesl & Co.'s digital patterns. They're a little more expensive. They're a little on the pricey side, but I mentioned it on Tuesday when I talked about the Hollywood trousers. Their PDF patterns are gridded, so it makes it really, really easy to line up all your pieces. And she's very economical with the way that she puts them on the paper. So you have to, there's cut marks that are kind of random, like across a piece of paper, but then it matches up. I just found it to be very easy to match up the pieces with her pattern. So, and I love the end result, obviously. So I made this for my daughter, and then with a little bit extra left over, she was needing, like kids do, she's grown, and all of her knit shorts before Florida have gotten really short. So my daughter is the same height that I am. She's only 5'2" right now. I don't know if she'll get any any taller or not. My mother-in-law's tall, she's 5'8". Ava seems to take after that side of the family. I don't think she'll get that tall, but I have no idea. We have no idea where she'll stop, but her arms and legs are quite a bit longer than mine, which is interesting, actually. We're the same height, but she has a long torso. Her legs are probably about the same length as mine. She has a long torso, but her arms are longer than mine. Anyway, so she needed new knit shorts. They were getting indecent. So I made her the Luna lounge set from Love Notions. I made the shorts from that. Look at the size of that waist. I mean, can you? It's got a lovely little faux fly here in the front, which normally I don't bother with, but I really like the way it turned out. It's got little side pockets, which, you know, she likes for being able just to, well, who doesn't love a pocket, just for putting anything in. And then an elasticized waist that she has you stitching the waistband in a couple places so you don't have any issues with elastic rolling. I use knit elastic, which is my absolute favorite. And it's a very nice length on her, and I will post pictures of her. I don't have any video of her wearing this, but I did take pictures. But again, she wore these quite often when we were in Florida. They're just nice little lounge shorts, and they're so cute with the little birds. So there is that. That's kind of my one piece of fabric. Got 2 little pieces of clothing out of there for my daughter. Now I will move on to, well, I can throw that on the floor. That doesn't need to be ironed. These are two garments that I made. One was going to be a wearable muslin for the Great Module Sew Along, and then the other one I just kind of wanted to play around with some new silhouettes. So the first one is my Rhapsody Blouse. Now, of course, I made my red Rhapsody Blouse for my Great Module Sew Along. It's one of my tops, but I wanted to try out the pattern. I mentioned before that I am right on the line between the full bust and standard bust for Love Notions. And so I've just finally come to determine that with their knit patterns, I should do a standard bust, and with their woven patterns, I should do the full bust, because I'm right on the line. But with this Rhapsody Blouse, I made it with the standard bust, and while it fits and it's going to get a ton of wear, it is a little tight through the bust back area. My red one fits not much better, but it does fit better and is more comfortable. So going forward, I would definitely choose the full bust front piece. But this is a beautiful rayon twill that I had in my stash. It was a remnant from Blackbird Fabrics a year ago, a little over a year ago. And when I bought it, I just kind of, if you've ever shopped a remnant sale at Blackbird Fabrics, you know, you kind of have to go crazy. You just have to like snatch it up immediately because it goes so quickly. And I grabbed this fabric, and when I bought it, I was like, why did I grab that? That's not a color I can wear it by my face. Turns out I totally can. It's one of my colors. So I'm really glad that I grabbed it up. It's got this beautiful, it's got my purple that's in it. It's got a little bit of pink, but you know, that's fine. And then obviously this gold background is one of my better colors. Anyway, it's a fun print. I love this top. It's gonna get a ton of wear in the spring. I chose the bishop sleeves. It's the same thing as my red silk blouse that I made. I used the elastic into the arms, but I made this at my sewing retreat back in January. So this was my test piece, and again, I've already worn it a ton, and it's gonna get a ton more wear. I just really, really like it. I love this pattern. It's just a very flattering, neat blouse pattern. So anyway, there is that one, and hopefully you can see how it's just a little tight in through here, and that, yeah, going with the full bust is best going forward. All right, now here's my last make that I wanted to share. These are the Picasso Pants by the Sewing Workshop. I have this pattern, and honestly, I really, really like this pattern made up in something drapey, like a rayon crepe or a rayon poplin or anything with a lot, basically a rayon or silk, or even a linen rayon blend, something that's got a little bit more drape to it. I've seen when I was at their shop in let's see, when was that? May, June. I saw quite a few people wearing these pants, and I really liked them in the drapier fabric. But I wanted to try this pattern in a more structured fabric because it has this gorgeous lantern leg at the bottom, and I really wanted to play around with structure and see how I like that on myself. The jury's still out on these pants, to be honest. This fabric came from Joyce's stash. It is a wool suiting. It has a teeny tiny little, you're not gonna be able to tell probably. Oh, maybe. It's got a camel stripe and then kind of a warm gray stripe, teeny tiny little pinstripe, and then the background is kind of a taupe color. So they're my colors, other than the gray, but I think it comes across warm enough. So I just wanted to play around with it. So I think I need to work on styling these a little bit, just because I'm just not sure. It's got the flat front and then the elastic that goes around the side, which is a big friend of mine. It's a cropped pant, and I did shorten it. I can't remember by how much, to be honest. Maybe 2 inches, 1.5, 2 inches. And then again, it's got this gorgeous lantern leg. I made a size medium. This is what I always make in Sewing Workshop patterns. And yeah, I mean, the fabric was free, so I thought it was pretty good fodder for playing around a little bit and deciding if I like, you know, just what it would look like, basically. I will definitely be making these in a drapier fabric because I'm curious onto what that will look like as well. But anyway, these are my Picasso pants. The jury's still out on these, so you'll have to let me know what y'all think. I can't tell if I just really want them to work. A couple of the ladies at the sewing retreat that I go to were saying no, that I should not do these in a structured fabric, that I should definitely try it in a drapey, but shouldn't do it in this structure to fabric. A couple said no, I think it could work if it was styled properly. So I'd be interested to hear on your all's opinion. It just really, I don't know that I have a real objective eye on it myself. I've now looked at them, I mean, basically that whole weekend. I just kept putting them on and thinking and looking to where then you just get in your own head, and I just don't know. They needed to go into timeout for a while so I could think about them some more. So anyway, that is my final, my pants for you. Final make. So there you have it. I think you guys are all caught up on all of my makes for right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. I've got a lot of fun stuff planned coming up. And on that note, we have T-shirt week. The first, let's see, that's going to start on a Sunday. Let me think. The 25th, 26th, 29th. March 29th is going to be kickoff of T-shirt week. So all the videos that week, so Sunday, Tuesday, Friday, and then the following Sunday are all going to be related to T-shirt sewing. So if you have anything specific, I've already had a couple of emails from people that had specific things they were kind of interested in learning about for T-shirt week, or interested in me talking about. So if you have a specific neckline, I'm definitely right now doing a V neckline, how I do V necklines, which also kind of goes into how I do, would do like a square neckline. And then I was going to do possibly one on the Pamela pattern boat neckline, just because I think that's a really cool neckline. I was going to talk about stretch percentage on how I usually just draft my own neck bands. I rarely use the ones that come with the pattern because I have a ratio I like to use. So I'll talk about that in one of the videos. I was going to talk about fabric, how to buy fabric, talk about fitting t-shirts. I've got some muslins that I made up that I was going to kind of talk through the fitting issues that I was having and the differences in drapier fabrics versus more stable knits. Anyway, that's kind of what I was thinking so far. So is there anything in particular that you guys would like to know regarding t-shirts? Let me know down below as I'm planning that out. All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. We've got the final video of the Huxley Bag Sew Along on Sunday. So you get to see the finished backpack. It's already been getting a lot of wear, so that's exciting. And then on Tuesday is my toppers for the Great Module Sew Along, which is very exciting because we're getting close to the end. We just have one more week after that, which is going to be the big reveal with everything together. So can't believe time goes quickly. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you all on Sunday. Bye.